This is a serious video. This is a video that I just learned about this a couple days ago, but I've been looking more into to make sure this is a real thing. Because when I first saw this, I thought this was a parody. Nobody in their right minds would support what's about to be passed in Minnesota. Look, you could say what you want about abortion. You could say abortion should be restricted after 30 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever. But nobody in their right minds would support what is potentially about to pass in Minnesota. Look, this is a serious video. This isn't some cute, entertaining video. This is probably the most serious topic that I will discuss on this channel for a while. So if you don't know, the Minnesota House of Representatives has just gotten a bill that was introduced called HF 91. And to say this bill is radical is an understatement. Now, thank goodness for Greg Price for tweeting about this. I recommend you guys read all of his other tweets. He's a phenomenal guy. But this is horrifying. Beyond belief. He said right here, it's the most insane, radical, and truly unreal baby-killing law I've ever seen at any level of government. This isn't some, we get rid of abortion, or, we allow abortion after 6 weeks, or something like that. No. It would repeal Minnesota's Born Alive Infant Protection Act that requires reasonable medical care for an infant surviving an abortion, and recognizes the baby as a human and provides rights for the child's parents. The state would be legalizing infanticide. Yeah. I am lost for words just for this. So essentially, if a baby survives a failed abortion, alright, if the abortion fails, if he survives, alright, the healthcare providers, they don't need to do anything. If it dies, it dies. You see the problem with this? You see why I consider this one of the most demonic things I have ever seen? And this isn't, take out of context. It's right there. It is right there in the proposal. Minnesota's HF 91 repeals the Women's Right to Know Act that literally requires women have informed consent to an abortion being performed on them. It would also repeal a law that makes it illegal to perform an abortion on a woman who is unconscious. You heard that right. So, the law that requires a woman to give informed consent to an abortion, alright, like, hey, I do not want an abortion, or I want an abortion. Nope, doesn't matter. You don't need to have informed consent to have an abortion be performed on them. What happened to my body, my choice? When it repeals a law where you have to have informed consent. And also, it would also repeal a law that makes it illegal to perform an abortion on a woman who's unconscious. So that means, for example, if a woman gets hit in the head, alright, and she was thinking about getting an abortion, they could theoretically do an abortion on her when she is unconscious, without her consent, without her knowing. This is real. This isn't some made-up theory. Let's just keep going, alright? Let's just keep going to show you how horrifying this gets. Excuse my French. It repeals a law that requires abortions to be conducted by physicians or physicians in training. It also repeals a law that requires abortion of viable fetuses to be performed in hospitals that must be certified, showing it was necessary to prevent the mother from dying. You heard that right. It prohibits, it gets rid of a law that requires an abortion be performed by a physician. So theoretically, Joe down the street in his white van, who claims to be a doctor, could perform an abortion on a woman because she wanted it. It also removes the fact that, there needs to be a reason for the abortion. Not just, I wanted it. HF 91 would repeal a law that requires physicians to report if a woman dies after an abortion. So if a failed abortion happens and the woman dies from it, guess what? Doesn't matter. They don't have to report it. It also removes a requirement from physicians to give the woman information for why an abortion is necessary in a medical emergency. So yeah, I'm lost for words. It just keeps getting worse. It removes requirements that parents be notified if an abortion is performed on a minor. Who can defend this? If, for example, there is a 13-year-old girl, right, that got pregnant or something like that, her parents don't need to know that she's getting an abortion. Despicable. Look, I disagree with abortion. I think abortion should be banned, in my humble opinion. But even if abortion is allowed, it's the bare minimum if the parents know. Like, how can anybody think this is a great idea? It also removes criminal penalties for selling instruments or drugs that cause abortions. So yeah, that's a great idea. It removes criminal penalties for secretly disposing an unborn fetus, along with language to specify that it only applies to babies lost in abortion or miscarriage. What am I supposed to say? This is real life. This is what's happening in Minnesota, just one state away from me. HF91 removes requirements that abortion facilities report the number of abortions that occur there every year. It also repeals the Minnesota Department of Health's ability to license and adopt rules for abortion facilities. So, yeah, what happens in these abortion clinics? Who knows? Who knows? Who cares? It strikes language that only allows public insurance funds from being used for abortions to save the life of the mother. They can be used for any abortion. So beforehand, if the woman's had a problem that could have killed her and she had to get an abortion because of it, it would come from public funds. Now, it could come from anywhere. It can be for any abortion. Oh, you don't want a baby that has autism? Oh well. It removes a requirement that a woman seeking an abortion be provided with information about alternatives other than killing their unborn baby. So if a woman thinks abortion's the only option, instead of, adoption or whatever, they don't have to tell her. They could just say, get an abortion, you're fine. Even if the kid's 30 weeks in and she just can't do it for financial reasons. She can't just give up the child. No, abortion. They don't have to tell her the alternatives. HF91 repeals criminal penalties for advertising drugs that cause miscarriage or abortions, as well as advertisements for cures of other sexual diseases. I'm just lost. I am lost for words. That's just part of the Minnesota bill they call the Protect Reproductive Options Act. You notice, every time these leftist lunatics propose these I don't know what to say, insane abortion bills, they make it sound like reproductive rights. They try to tie it in, mislead people what it really does. If you live in Minnesota, call your state legislator, tell them, vote no against this despicable, demonic bill. This isn't about, I disagree with abortion after 20 weeks, or I disagree with that after a heartbeat. No. This bill allows unfettered abortions, unrestricted abortions, no transparency of the process. Abortion clinics can do whoever they want, whatever they want. Joe down the street can perform an abortion. This causes significant damage and will kill God knows how many unborn babies. Not in week 2, but in right up to birth. And there's no transparency in it. If you live in Minnesota, call your state legislator. Tell them, vote no against this despicable act. I thought this wasn't real. I thought this was a parody. This is the most radical abortion bill I have ever seen. And I thought California had some bad ones. Still there, they have some, they got some rules, some regulations. Here, it becomes a whole can of worms. I don't know what to say. I have no words for this bill. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. I don't know what to say.